Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You Getting Fucked if you live in the state of Colorado. I'm your host, Louis Rossman, and today I want to go over an age verification bill. That's not really an age verification bill because it actually doesn't require you to verify anything. It's just a complete annoying waste of time. This is Senate Bill 26051. It's coming from a state that's got some really cool right to repair bills for farm equipment, for wheelchairs, and the state legislature in general is somewhat responsive. The mayor of Denver is a cunt, but that's different. That's city government, not state. The state government does a lot of good things, and this is one of those things that I really hope doesn't make it through because it is completely ridiculous. This is a bill that requires an operating system provider to provide an accessible interface and account setup that requires an account holder to indicate the birth date or age of the user of that device, or to provide a signal regarding the user's age bracket to applications available in a covered app store. It must provide an application developer that requests an age signal with respect to a particular user the technical ability to call an age signal via a reasonably consistent real-time application programming interface that identifies at minimum the user's age bracket data and sends only the minimum amount of information necessary to comply with the bill. Now that sounds like the minimum information necessary. That's a good thing, right? But in reality, this entire thing is just a complete waste of time. Let's go over it. So firstly, an operating system is not defined in the bill. An operating system provider is defined as a person that develops, licenses, or controls an operating system software for a device. Now, if you're Apple or Google or Microsoft, obviously, yeah, that's you. For Mac OS, that is Apple. For Windows, that is Microsoft. For Gentoo, it's one of the people in the IRC chat that like. Who's the maintainer of that? For Arch, who's the maintainer of that? How does this make any sense? Open source operating system contributors could potentially be liable for not putting age attestation features into their products under the way it is written, which is just horrible. It seems like it was written by people that don't even understand that open source operating systems exist, nor do they care. And that's the problem with having people that don't really understand technology writing laws about technology. It doesn't fucking work. You could just also say that this does not apply to open source software. It just does not apply to Linux in general, meaning that, again, it then becomes useless because now you are saying, well, this is a law to protect children, but if your child can figure out how to use like Manjaro, I guess, never mind, it's useless. Covered application store is any publicly available website, software application, online service, or platform that distributes and facilitates the download of applications from third-party developers. All right, let's say I want to download Handbrake to convert video. Let's say I want to download MIRC as an IRC client. The Microsoft Store, Google Play, Apple App Store, those are all obvious. I get it. But if you go to handbrake.fr or mirc.com, I mean, these are publicly available websites that distribute an application. Are they a covered app store now? The definition is broad enough that maybe it could. And more importantly, if it does every developer hosting their own website now have to have something put together that figures out what your age is before you're able to download the application? Do they have an obligation to collect that information and then risk being fined? Because the fines here are somewhere between $2,500 to $7,500. If this bill does not require that, then this bill, again, becomes functionally useless because it means that as long as you're delivering software as a .exe file, then you're exempt from the bill. It only matters if you're in an app store. This whole system is only going to work inside of an app store, which means as long as the next generation is not so completely fucked that they must have something delivered via an app store in order to actually install an application, this bill then becomes useless. It's similar to Texas's bill on ID and age verification for porn websites, where it doesn't actually stop people from watching porn. It just ensures that one of their rites of passage as they're going through puberty, if they want to watch porn, is to learn how a VPN works and learn how to avoid IPv6 DNS leaks. But maybe that's the point. My favorite section, why this entire thing is a fucking waste of time. An operating system provider shall provide an accessible interface and account setup that requires an account holder to indicate the birth date or age of that user of that device for the purpose of providing an age signal to applications available in a covered application store. Article 30 does not require the collection of additional personal information from device owners or device users that is not necessary to comply with this article. So, accessible interface to indicate. What does that mean? This is not age verification. This is age indication, which means that you are going to present me with a dialog box that I am going to use to say I'm 18 even if I'm 12, which is what I did when I signed up for almost every single online forum back when I first got the internet around 1997. This is fucking useless. It says indicate birth date or age. It does not mention ID verification. It does not mention document upload. It does not mention a biometric check. And no, I am not saying that would be okay. What I'm saying is that you should stop wasting your time with all of this bullshit. People need to parent their fucking children. The reason that I got into any sort of trouble on the internet at all was not because there was some sort of age verification or upload your ID or do any of this. No. The reason is because my parents did not give two shits of a fuck what I was doing on the internet, because as I mentioned in the last video, and I feel weird mentioning again, they were too busy doing other things, usually contained in a pill bottle, to spend their time figuring out what their kid was doing on the internet. And honestly, in some ways, that was a good thing because many of the things I was doing on the internet, many of the articles I was reading, many of the people that I were talking to were there to validate that my environment sucked and that I could do better. and they believed that I could do better. And when I got my internships and improved in life and got a better job and was able to use the skills that I learned on the internet to actually better society and myself, I was happy. But aside from all that, aside from my personal rant on all that shit, stop trying to shove age verification down everybody's throats. The reason that kids get abused or fucked with is because we live in a society that in all levels is highly fucked. And that has nothing to do with the fact that mirc.exe didn't ask for my age before I downloaded the exe file. People that don't understand how technology, computers, or software distribution works are creating a framework that will be used to be able to find people willy-nilly. It's a waste of time. Work on something that matters. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. And for those of you who are wondering, why did it take me this long to cover this stuff? I have to be interested in it, and something has to go off in my head. Like, making videos is a cathartic process for me. I actually feel better after I do a video, and I do videos on things that matter to me. I can't tell you why something does or does not matter, or why something doesn't like scratch that itch in my head that gets me to do a video. Again, like, there's a logical part of my head that realizes that I probably would be $10,000 to $50,000 richer right now if I spent the last 2 months just constantly going over Epstein file stuff. But like, I'll read the news and I'll see, wow, this is really messed up. But it doesn't scratch the part of my head that's like, I feel like talking about this. And there's something about this bill. I can't tell you why it was this one when it came to age verification. It was something about just how stupidly written this entire thing is from front to back. And like, yes, I am a privacy advocate. Yes, I think all this stuff is stupid. I agree with you all. It's not like I disagree. Yeah, this did it for me. Like, this is some of the stupidest shit on earth. I hope that you let people that you know, and I hope that you let these representatives that introduced this bill also know that if this is how you're going to spend your time, I'm not voting for you next time. I don't care who the other guy is. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now. Oh, and also, lastly, yes, I got this different camera setup to travel around the country and do videos on a lot of the flock stuff. I really went overboard. This is totally separate. I went completely overboard in getting a setup that lets me do live streaming, have multiple audio inputs, and after getting that entire setup, I actually managed to drop the camera, not once, but twice, and crack some of the plastic. Since I don't need this stuff anymore, I'm going to be auctioning it off my website, so if anybody is interested in that type of stuff, I will be selling it in a video. I'll be announcing it in the community post tab in the next week or two. See you in the next one.